Hi, I'm Holly McLean with TrainLi Tech TV and the Alpine and Western Pacific Railroad. And welcome back to episode 8 of building the Kleine Scheidegg train station. This is, you can see, is a pretty good size model. We've been working on this now for a while. And on the last episode, we put the tile floors in the cargo office, restaurant, and gift shop, and we painted the interior walls, the appropriate colors for the building. We went with a sage green in the inside for the ticket office and cargo. I want to call the utility closet, just a cream. And the upper floor of the hotel is also a cream color, while the dining area restaurant is more of a light brown, or as the paint color was a dark taupe. And we put some wood strips on this side of the restaurant to give a little bit of texture and depth to when you look inside. And on this wall inside here, we're going to digitally print an image there which is a similar image to what they have up in the real restaurant. And then of course we finish up on the end here with the gift shop. Work on the windows on this. Now this is just one big window detail, and we're just going to use one piece of glass rather than putting in all the individual ones. So we have to cut a piece of glass here, and so I'm just going to keep it right on this board here. And in fact, Mario, if you want to come on over and give a hand on holding this. I went ahead and already measured this. We want this about 5 1/4 inches in height here. So that looks good. And all right, we're going to try and get one big long cut here, about a 36-inch score. And we want to make sure the little cutting wheel is lined up with this shot. Okay. Now I'm going to try it this way. Right here. Ta-da! Look at that. We did it. So the next step is we'll go ahead and glue this onto the wall there and let that set up, and then we'll glue the exterior piece. And we're going to put this piece of glass here. It's just single pane window glass. We have one big long sheet, and it's going to go right about like that. I want to make sure that this covers it. I'm putting on the outside of the wall. Then we'll kind of come over. So what I think I want to do is actually glue it onto this piece, because that's the important, has to fit this, and then this we can fit onto this piece here. So go right like here. And that's a nice fit. So I'm going to use this clear, ultra clear silicone. And the secret is to get just enough. So we cleaned off the little leftover debris from the water jet. And we're going to use this clear, ultra clear silicone, and gotta be, the tricky part is having enough to make sure you have a good seal all the way around, but not too much that it gets really gushy into the windows. All right, that's good to go. Let that set up, and we'll be back. The next step after applying the stone tile is to apply the wood planking to the second floor. And we use 1/8 by 1/2 inch by 24 inch planking and glue it with the regular landscape adhesive and use small mini clamps to hold them in place while the glue dries. We use our miniature table saw to cut the basewood strips to size. After the strips have been applied to the second story of the panel, we come back and test fit the windows. The tricky part is this little arch across the top. And how we got this on the wood strip was using a Dremel sander to get that nice arch. Once all the windows were cut out, we come back and test fit them to make sure they slide in nicely. Then we use some 1/8 inch square wood strips across the bottom and the two sides. We didn't put anything across the top, just it was difficult to get that arch with the piece of wood. You'll also notice that we've stained all of them. Now on some of these sections you may want to take another strip of wood and glue that between where the stone tiles meet the wood planking. That will give you a nice little finish detail there, and it really finishes off the look of the junction between the stone tile and the wood planking. And with this, we've just used regular exterior grade wood glue, and that holds these in place nicely. There's nothing really structural to them, it's just a detail part, so that wood glue works excellent. We just squeeze that in and then wipe off the extra glue, anything that comes out, and it's ready to go. So now you can see we have all the planking in place, we have the wood trim around the windows all glued in place, and we have the blue window frames also glued in place. Now I'm just applying a waterproof sealer that exterior grade. This stuff is excellent. It just soaks right into the wood, and this will last for years and years. I usually come back and apply another coat once the building's outside, usually once in the spring and once in the fall, just on the wood areas where it's stained, and I've had it last for, I have some buildings out there almost 10 years, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Just a coat in the spring and a coat in the fall of this waterproof sealer. There's several different types of clear waterproofer, and one is this Olympic water guard, and another one that works well is that Thompson's water seal. So any type of exterior grade clear waterproof sealer works well on the wood planking with the stain. Well, I am so excited to show you how this building is coming together. As you know, we kind of test fit everything as we go along each stage to make sure that there are no problems and see what the next steps are going to be. And we had it all put together last night, and wow, it's a showstopper. So you guys are going to be really excited and blown away when you see it test fitted back together at the end of the segment here. It's spectacular. So what I want to do is just kind of do a little recap on what we've been doing. Is we started just doing all the detail work, the siding on the east side of the building, and this is the main one right here. And what we did was we added the stone, glued it on, and on both these sides, and these are the exterior walls, and then this is where the restaurant lives. And we took our windows and we went ahead and very carefully sanded out and around just so they have a nice fit in the openings here. And then we took a 1/8 inch square basewood, and we stained it and then glued it, the trim on the 2 vertical on the bottom, just to kind of tighten that up and add a little bit more, I guess a little more eye candy to the building. Another important thing to do is to make sure that you leave a channel right through here so that the restaurant roof can slide into that. So like I said, we want to have this channel about right here, and at least about an 1/8 inch channel. And it just runs the length of this whole piece, because the restaurant roof will then slide right in there as well. So we'll probably go ahead and trim a little bit more, just because there is a slight angle to that. But that's important to make sure you have that channel there. So after we glued in the windows, and we just used the E6800, this is the UV one. Make sure that if you're using this type of adhesive, to get the UV resistant, which is the 6800. I think it's the 6000 is not the UV resistant. We put a little bit around the edges of the window, and I use just a little stick, and all I did was just go right around the edges here, and then just slid them right in, and they were good to go. And then I used a wood glue, an exterior wood glue, to attach these. Really important to stain everything first, including your little trim pieces, and then glue them on. As if you glue them on and then do the stain, the glue sometimes will block that stain, so you'll get more of a discoloration. So stain everything and then glue it together. Once we got all these windows glued in and the trim glued in, the next thing is we flip this over, and we got the back side here. And I have a diamond glass grinder right here, and what we did was just took our little pieces of glass and trimmed them so that they fit nicely into these windows. Got the last couple of ones that I need to do, and so we'll do that real quick. These are, I've done all these windows so far. We just have these last 8, and you can see these windows almost fit. So we just take the grinder, and I only try and grind on the one side. I don't do both sides, because that will, even if you're careful, you still get a little bit of a wavy edge. So perfect, that fits in there nicely. Now the next step is to glue the glass in. I use this ultra clear silicone, and it's by DAP, and this stuff has worked very well in the past. And what I'm going to do is we're just going to put a bead around here, push the window down into it, and then put another bead around the top part. Make sure that your window is clean. A lot easier to clean now than it is once it's in there. All right. And this layer, both these, when you put it in here, you want to make sure you don't get too much silicone or adhesive in there, because it will gush out onto the window glass. If that happens, let it set up and come back with a little razor knife or X-Acto knife and cut it out after it's set up, and that works a lot better than trying to wipe it off. It just kind of smears while it's still wet. Hey, well, here it is. Doesn't this look absolutely spectacular? I know we're working on it, and we started test fitting it back together after we had the wood and the rock on the front of it. We were like totally blown away at how well this is coming together, and just it's really going to, I think, be a spectacular addition to the railroad out front. So we're just so happy in how this has turned out. And I realize this is not the train car that would be up here at this station, but it's at least gives you a size reference. I think that's a good match there. And let's do kind of a quick recap of what we've done. We started down here at the cargo ticket office, and we put the stone on these faces here. Once we glue it back, or once we start assembling it for the last time, then I'll come back and put the stones on these little walls here, and because those got to interlock together, and it'd be difficult, it'd be almost impossible to go ahead and put those stones in and then try and get them to interlock on each piece. So we'll just put those in at the end, and then we got the restaurant here, and I put a nice little trim piece of wood on that side, as well as one running along this, and it really gives it a nice finish to the model. We have the tile floor in through here, and a little bit difficult to see from far away, but we have the wood floor in that spot there, and we'll drop them into this one once we get the other side done. And we have the wood trim around the windows. Now, the next episode we're going to do is do the west side, and then we'll come back and finish up the gift shop and so forth. Okay, well, that wraps up this segment of building the Kleine Scheidegg train station. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, if you have any comments, suggestions, or questions, please email me at Hawley, Hawley, at TrainLi.com. Also, we really appreciate it when you like us on Facebook and you subscribe to our channel on YouTube, the Alpine and Western Pacific Railroad. So the next segment, we will be working on the west side of the building, putting on the stone and the wood and the windows. So we look forward to seeing you again. And once again, thank you so much for watching. I'm Hawley McLean for TrainLi Tech TV and the Alpine and Western Pacific Railroad.